So hand copying adverts, promos, and emails is one of those things that copywriters always say is key for success. But when somebody says, do you want to spend 20 minutes a day hand copying letters, you go, not really. And you kind of feel like you get the benefit just by reading them. You can hear this science about, it connects parts of your brain together when you actually write it out in your own hand. There's something that goes on. There's some kind of brain neural pathway magic that goes on. But still, when you hear that, you go, I'm not convinced. But it's something I've been doing a lot of recently. Quite a few people have mentioned it, so it's kind of given me enough of a kind of impetus to go for it and do it. But the key thing is when you do this, and maybe I'll talk about this more in the future, but when you do this, it's important you find the right ads, the right emails, the right promos to hand copy. There's no point hand copying something that stinks. So the first part of the hand copying task is finding good adverts. So I thought that while I was doing this, and since I haven't made a video for ages, I thought I'd pick apart one that I've been hand copying recently and tell you what I like about it. So this is the newest entry, and here's what I like about this. And it's quite a famous advert, so I'll be super quick with this. And you've probably, if you're a copywriter, you've probably seen this advert before. So let's have a quick look at it. It's this one here, which is a classic David Ogilvy ad. At 60 miles an hour, the loudest noise in this new Rolls-Royce comes from the electric clock. So this is a famous ad. Let's see if I can make it. Oh, there we go. That's good. So a few things I like about this advert that I'll point out, just really basic stuff that will probably be obvious to copywriters, but let's just dive into a little bit more detail about this and see how you could use it. So this is a bit of an iconic ad. So saying here's what I like about it is pretty redundant, but unless you know exactly what you like about it, that's where the gold is, how you can apply it to you. So we're advertising a Rolls-Royce. You think about what a Rolls-Royce is. It's a luxury car. So it's not about the stereotypical like Lamborghini brosif kind of thing. It's not a boasty thing. So if you think about the qualities you want to attract, the qualities you kind of want to get across in an advert, let's have a look at these in the ad. So clearly, the comfort thing, the loudest noise is this, it's the electric clock. So it's about comfort, it's about elegance, it's about style and luxury. And again, in the subheadline, patient attention to detail. Patient attention to detail. 3 keywords there, and they're eminent Rolls-Royce engineer. In reality, it doesn't matter about the engineer, but it's just the word eminence tossed out there because that's what this brand is all about. So you can talk about things like your engineers, and you can talk about your process, using the terms that the aspirational terms that your buyers are looking to tap into. So if they're looking for a grueling workout, you can say the fact that your guys are army trained, or they're Navy SEAL approved, or they've done that kind of thing. It might not add any credibility directly to your thing, like your offer, but the words are just out there and it gets them in the kind of mindset. So that's a really useful thing to do. Let's just zoom in a bit more here. So let's have a look further down here. So again, we've got the headline, which is a pretty bold thing because in the first paragraph, it's got the same headline there. But what I like about this is it adds something to it. Reports the technical editor of the Motor magazine. So it's not us saying that. It's a quote, and here's where the quote comes from. So it backs it up. It adds a little bit of credibility to it. So it just gives it a bit more, obviously credibility. So I've highlighted this bit in green, because this is a bit that kind of confused me a bit. So every Rolls-Royce engine is run for 7 hours at full throttle before installation, and each car is test driven for hundreds of miles over varying road surfaces. Now when I paired that with this, it's subjected to 98 separate ordeals. Now here's what tripped me up about this. Rolls-Royce, luxury, grace, style, elegance. I was thinking, if I was the kind of person who was buying a Rolls Royce, and I'm not, if I was the kind of person who's buying a Rolls Royce, do I want a car that has been run for 7 hours at full throttle? Do I want a car that's been test driven by somebody else for hundreds of miles on various road surfaces? It sounds like an ordeal. It sounds like a challenge. It doesn't feel like a new car anymore. When you get a new car, you kind of want that new experience of looking at the mileometer. You want to be the sensation that you're the first person in this. This car has been made for you. So I put these in green because I thought about this. This is the second thing. It's been run at full throttle, hundreds of miles, varying road conditions. separate ordeals. Now, I know what it's getting across, that this car has been tested to the limit, but it kind of triggered me in my head thinking, is that what I want with the Rolls Royce? Do I want the feeling that this car has been through it before it's got to me, even when it's brand new? So that's one thing. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it's useful to think about this kind of stuff, because ordeal and, full throttle and 7 hours conjures up images in your customer's mind. They know what driving a car at full throttle is like, and they know they don't do it very often. So it's got to be torture on a car engine. So that was just something I thought of there. So here's another one, number 10. By moving a switch on the steering column, you can adjust the shock absorbers to suit the road conditions. Now, here's a weird thing. In the advert I was hand copying, this is a different version. The bit in brackets, let's zoom in a little bit there. So this bit here wasn't actually on the advert that I've been hand copying. So it just had, by moving a switch, you can adjust the shock absorbers to suit road conditions. Now, to most people, that's going to be obvious why that's important. It kind of improves your comfort. But in this version of the advert, whether it's for an American market or a different market, they've spelled it out. So they've, what we call, kind of dimensionalized the benefit, so you can visualize how it's going to appear in your life. This is what it is, and this is how it benefits you. This is lightweight, so it's easier to carry. This is made of tempered steel, so it will never break. That kind of thing. So they spell it out. The lack of fatigue in driving this car is remarkable. You'll never get tired. It's a great way of doing it. And it's an elegant way of saying, without resorting to comfort, it's lack of fatigue. It's just a great way of doing it. So it's a really good way of kind of tapping into what your customers want and spelling out exactly why they should give a toss about this. And look at these for optional extras. I mean, like we said up here, patient attention to detail, eminent Rolls-Royce designer. These kind of give you the image of luxury. How about these for optional extras? Espresso coffee making machine, a dictating machine, a bed, hot and cold water for washing, an electric razor. It's like most hotel rooms in the Travelodge don't come with half of those, but this Rolls-Royce is such an elegant thing. It's like, this is what you get. So again, it's like whether you have those or not, it's just spelling out how luxurious this car is. It's really tapping into these kind of values of the Rolls-Royce buyer. And here, the final thing, here's something really interesting. So again, my advert when I was hand copying was slightly different to this. My advert said the Bentley's made by Rolls-Royce, except for the radiators, they're identical motor cars manufactured by the same engineers in the same works. That's where my advert ended. But here you've got a picture of the radiators. And here it says the Bentley costs $300 less. So it's saying it's the same car and there's a cheaper alternative somewhere else because the radiator is simpler to make. But how it's positioning it is brilliant, because if you think about who wants Rolls-Royce, they want the premium, they want the status, they want the more expensive option. They want to be the guy that says, oh, you went for the cheaper Bentley, did you? Not me, I went for the Rolls. So it's a great way of doing that kind of stuff. They're giving people, they're being quite clear that it's not for everybody. This is they're kind of hinting at exclusivity here. People who feel diffident about driving a Rolls Royce can buy a Bentley. That's the kind of problem you want in life. Do I get the Rolls? Do I get the Bentley? Simpler grille? That kind of thing. So yeah, I really think it's, and also the last thing I want to mention about this, except for the radiators, they're identical motor cars. Now, you could make that claim and it would be legitimate and people take it, but they go the extra mile. Ogilvy goes the extra mile here with its manufacture. It proves it's an identical car, not just in parts, not just in spec, but with a few short words, he shows you it's identical. Manufactured by the same engineers in the same works. The same people who made this are making this. It proves it without massively trying to overstate the case. And also actually gives you a reason to actually believe they are the same car. So now the choice is, do you want the simple grille or do you want the Rolls-Royce grille? Which do you want? So again, it's just adding a little bit more proof. A bit like earlier on, it's one thing to say it's 60 miles an hour, the loudest thing is the clock. But when somebody else is saying it, the technical editor of the motor, now it's a whole different ballgame. Now you've got proof, now you've got credibility, now you've got 100% certainty as reading the advert that it's the case. So those are a few things I pulled from this. It's a great advert, and I will put a link to it below, because it's, if actually, you know what, I don't need to. If you just search David Ogilvy, Rolls-Royce advert, a bunch of these will come up. It's very easy to find. If you struggle with that, you've probably got bigger problems in life. But yeah, that's what I like about that. There's a whole bunch of things to borrow from that, and it's just a really good example of how you can get the values, the aspirational values your clients are looking for across in an advert without actually just saying, we are great, we are patient, we've got attention to detail, we're the preeminent brand. You can use it indirectly to get those values across. So, hope you enjoyed that. All things being good, camera surviving, laptop surviving, me surviving. I'll be doing more of these Here's What I Like About This adverts in the future. If you want to be among the first people to know about this, the best way is by subscribing to my email list. You can go there, or you can go in the description below. There should be a nice link there, if I've remembered. Aside from being the first person to find out when I do these videos like this, you also get a bunch of free goodies, as it says. So you get a year's worth of email prompts. There's a how to be funny guide. There's topless photos of me on holiday in Margate. It's a treasure trove. Lara Croft would go for this kind of treasure. So yeah, subscribe and you'll be the first to know. And if you want to let me know what you got out of this or what you found useful, feel free to do that in the comments below. But I think that's it.